Hi everyone, my name is Carla and I make videos on corporate soft skills, project management skills, really any kind of skills to kind of help us survive this corporate society that we live in. I do try to emphasize a little bit on the first generation experience, immigrant experience, just because that is my background and what I relate to, but I've heard that they've been pretty helpful with the younger corporate generation, so let's just keep doing these. Today, I want to talk about what is going on in the US, this phenomenon. The, journalist world has coined the Great Resignation and how I became a part of it, what that process looked like, why I decided to join it, and what I learned from it. So I actually already filmed this twice. The first time I realized that my mic wasn't working, so I turned it off. The second time I didn't realize that my mic wasn't working, so there's full video of me talking about this for 30 minutes without it actually being recorded. Anyways, so in case you haven't heard what's been happening with the Great Resignation, there has been about, I believe, hold on, let me check. So according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor, there's been approximately 4 million Americans that quit their job this year. According to those statistics, it's people in kind of the mid-level career range, people between 30 and 45, making those career changes and quitting their jobs. And there's a plethora of articles out there talking about the potential reasons why this is happening and why it's happening all at once, right? It goes from the burnout rate. People are, kind of tired and exhausting themselves at these companies without the adequate compensation and not really having a work-life balance. People are also kind of, because of this pandemic, have had the opportunity to live a quote unquote balanced lifestyle because they're working from home. So they get a lot more time back from no longer having to do that commute, no longer having to, get ready in the morning and struggle through all that morning routine and get to spend more time with their family. They also get time back to work on their mental health. For example, it's awesome that I actually get to cook myself a balanced warm meal in the middle of the day instead of going down to the cafe and grabbing whatever is available, right? It's also amazing that I get to go for a run in the morning and come back with plenty of time to prep and do my job. And also the fact that I get to be around my loved ones so much more compared to when I was going into the office. I read an article a while ago, and I think it was based on the surveys in Japan, that kind of the happy medium is this hybrid approach where you're working from home half of the time and you're working in the office half of the time. And that's kind of peak mental health moment. That was a train of thought, tangent, and I followed it. And anyways, there's so many reasons why people think this could be happening. That burnout rate, that loving working from home, and companies requesting people to come back into the office full time, especially because the changes that happen so dramatically because of the pandemic, where there's so many jobs now that you no longer have to go into the office. You can do them definitely all remote or hybrid. There are a lot of people who would prefer to have that kind of work-life balance or that kind of lifestyle, and are going to leave jobs that are forcing them to go back in. Another reason that articles are saying that people are quitting their jobs is because they've had the time to reflect on what they actually want to do with their lives. And if they are experiencing a burnout rate, they quit. And those that are privileged enough to not be living paycheck to paycheck are, taking the time to kind of reflect on what they want to do with the rest of their life. Obviously, not everyone has the privilege to work from home, have a hybrid approach, be able to quit their job and, kind of think through what they want to do next. Other reasons that I believe the Great Resignation is happening is opportunity out there, right? So at the beginning of the pandemic, there were a lot of layoffs, which left job openings at several companies. And now that we're getting back to this kind of quote unquote stabilized environment, companies are ramping back up and there are all these opportunities available. because there is a shortage in the workforce, that also means compensation, right? So there's not only greater opportunities, but there's greater compensation out there. You know, whether this is a good thing or a bad thing for the economy, I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to state my opinion. However, this is the reality of what's happening. So let me talk about my experience now and why I decided to join, and you know what I learned from it. So I was very happily sitting at my desk and doing my job, not really concerned with finding a new job or looking for opportunities or anything. I have been very fortunate in my career to not only be a part of a great company whose values align with my own, but to have coworkers and supervisors and mentors that I just completely appreciate and treasure in this company. And you know, I was getting plenty of opportunity. I was doing my job. I was very happy. I got a phone call from a recruiter, just, you know, of another company that has been kind of asking me to have a coffee for a while now. And, you know, I got curious and I said yes, knowing, you know, what is happening in the economy, because I try to be an informed person. I went out there and I kind of just started talking to this company. And then obviously the word gets out and other companies kind of start asking you to have the same conversation with them. So at the end of all these conversations, you know, at the beginning I went in very casually, very much just thinking, I want to know what's out there. Let's just find out. So I ended up with 3 offers on the table, all with an increase of salary that was more than I expected, all with an opportunity and a stretch challenge more than I could have ever imagined at this point in my career. Anyways, I ended up with these options in front of me that I just never in a million years thought that I would have. And I decided to embrace it and say yes to one of those options because I had been, you know, in the same place for almost a decade. And it seemed like the right thing to do. I also wanted to change. I was looking for something to challenge me, something different, kind of learn other companies' ways, other clients, etc. So obviously the compensation was, you know, a cherry on top. So I made the decision and I quit my job. And I spent a month doing nothing. That kind of tells you my experience and the reasons why I decided to say yes. What did I learn from it? I learned not to be afraid. And when opportunity comes knocking at your door, you don't, you know, shut the door on them. You look after yourself. So I learned to kind of hold this gratitude and this space for where you come from, but to not be afraid to put yourself first and take advantage of the state of the world and the economy, to kind of advocate and promote yourself. That it's okay to put yourself and your family first sometimes. So that's what I learned. I'm very happy with my decision, and obviously it is not for everyone. But I kind of just wanted to talk about my experience a little bit and film that before too much time went by, so I can talk about it real time. So I know that I haven't posted a video in a minute, and now you know why. There's been a lot of life changes, and finding that routine to be able to make these YouTube videos is difficult, and I do not know how people do it. But I'll find that routine eventually. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I get to see you in the next one.